Now, the big news at Stormont today was the publication and endorsement of a new code of conduct for members. It lays out new rules for MLAs. Here's Carmel Hanna of the Standards and Privileges Committee.
It has never been more important to ensure that we have public trust and confidence in the integrity of elected representatives. Revelations from Westminster about duck ponds, moat cleaning, house flipping and other abuse have understandably shaken public confidence in the political system. The behaviour of some MPs has been disgraceful, and it doesn't really matter that these aren't stories about this Assembly. They're not. But what matters is that the public have lost faith in many politicians, and we need to do something about that. We need to show that we are listening to these concerns, that we understand the frustrations that exist, and that we are going to take decisive action. Only by doing so can we begin to rebuild public confidence and ensure that the integrity of the Assembly is upheld.
Now, one of the big issues is, of course, double jobbing and family members who work for MLAs. Under the new rules, there will have to be more transparency.
Let me begin with the issue of double jobbing. And when I say double jobbing, I'm not just talking about dual mandate. Double jobbing can relate to any job that a member holds outside of this Assembly. The Committee on Standards and Privileges isn't saying that members shouldn't be able to have jobs outside the Assembly. Outside experience can inform our debate and help make decisions. But what the Committee is saying, however, is that where members do have outside jobs, there needs to be much more openness and transparency. Up until now, most members have simply had to register the source of outside employment of earnings and nothing else. We're proposing that under the new code, members will have to register how much they earn from outside interests. And it's important because the value of an outside interest can show just how significant it is. Members will also have to register how much time they spend working on outside interests. And this, Mr. Speaker, is crucial. When the public elect a full-time MLA, they have a right to know how much time that member is spending on other paid interests. Another big issue for the public is family members benefiting from Assembly allowances, whether it be through employment or the rental of offices. And while there are often good reasons why family members are the right people to turn to and to provide value for money, we're not living in the real world if we can't see how this can appear to the public. And that's why there must be openness and accountability.
Mark, Carmel Hanna there is the chair of the committee outlining some of the changes. I mean, how significant are these changes?
Well, certainly I think it will give the Standards Committee some more teeth. They have previously had a sort of slightly vague ability to take away privileges from a member. Normally that's come down to asking an MLA to apologise when they've somehow broken the rules. That happened, for instance, in the case of Barry McElduff, when he was seen to have condoned vandalism post boxes in the West. Now it's more specific. It's being now said that they will have the power to recommend the suspension of an MLA without pay. So that's given them more teeth. Now some people would say, oh, they should crack down and maybe stop the employment of family members or stop work outside the Assembly. They don't have that power. Instead, they're just setting up a register. But they have pointed out that these recommendations are in parallel with some work that's also being carried out by the Assembly Commission, which is looking more at the sort of financial and expenses aspect. So we've yet to hear from the Commission quite what they'll be recommending.
And obviously because of what's been happening at Westminster, this is kind of the key issue. A lot of people talked about this as something that came up on the doorsteps when they were campaigning in the Euro elections, and all parties are affected.
Absolutely. I mean, you know, double jobbing, particularly political double jobbing, was a big issue in the campaign. Now, the committee were at pains to say that they were talking not just about political double jobbing, but all kind of earnings which people gather in outside of the Assembly. So if somebody is a farmer or whatever, they will have to put down how much time they spend on the farm and what kind of earnings they get from that. And I think there'll also be a move, probably when the Assembly Commission come forward with this, towards the Scottish model, which has been a more detailed sort of breakdown, for instance, of the expenses that MLAs incur, so that you'll be able to see potentially actual individual transactions. So, yeah, against the context of what's been happening in Westminster, I think they feel the need to sort of clean things out. But of course, there's the Westminster authorities who are looking at their situation, so they'll have to bear in mind if the rules change there.
Yeah, because presumably everyone's going to look to which institution has got the best practice, and Stormont will have to live up to that.
Yeah, I mean, for instance, one aspect of this is the registration of whether a family member benefits from the rent of a constituency office. At the moment, they're just saying you've got to register that. Now, across in the Green Book in Westminster, the guidance is that you shouldn't have a family member actually owning an office. You shouldn't be paying rent in that way. So it's possible that if that's tightened up, that the authorities here will want to look at that, and it won't be a case of just registering it. It might become something that actually breaks the rules.
OK, Mark, thanks for that.